And so, hello there, and welcome back to another Night of the Movies video. I am, of course, Spike Knight, and in these videos, I love talking about things movies and TV, and whatever I want, whenever I want. And in today's video, I'm still at the BFI, I'm still in London, I'm still in this Travelodge, and I'm still attending the BFI London Film Festival. So in today's video, I will be continuing reviewing movies that I've seen at this festival. It's probably the last video I do at this Travelodge. Hopefully in the next video, I will be back home recording from my bedroom, which is where I feel most comfortable, which is where I enjoy doing my views the most. I don't mind doing it here, it's not got much of a background. I love having a bit more of a background to my videos. But anyway, I'm still here today. I'm still here at the Travelodge as of Saturday, what's the date today? Saturday the 18th of October. By the time it's gone out, it'll probably be the 19th of October, probably Sunday the 19th. But I'm still here today, and in today's video, I'm reviewing a few movies actually that I saw over the past couple of days. Well, yeah, over the past day or so. So, in this video today, I am reviewing Rental Family, the new film starring Brendan Fraser, and then I will be reviewing Christy, the new film starring Sydney Sweeney, in which she transforms into a boxer based on a true story, and then I will be reviewing Die My Love, the new Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson movie, which I just saw this morning, which I literally just got back from seeing. So, let's get into it, shall we? Let's start off with my review of Rental Family. So, Rental Family, as what I said, is a new film starring Brendan Fraser. I don't think it actually comes out until, the 9th of January next year, which is kind of crazy with the fact that I've already seen it. So anyway, yes, this is a new film starring Brendan Fraser. I'm pretty sure this is his first film since he won the Oscar for The Whale. So there's something. And this film follows the story of a person who's struggling to find purpose, This is a Google plot synopsis for this movie. Struggling to find purpose, an American actor, played by Brendan Fraser in this film, lands on an unusual gig with a Japanese agency to play stand-in roles for strangers. As he immerses himself in his client's world, he begins to form genuine bonds that blur the lines between performance and reality. Confronting the moral complexities of his work, he soon rediscovers purpose, belonging, and the quiet beauty of human connection. And that's pretty much all you need to know about this film before seeing it. And honestly, I thought this was a really sweet film. I liked it. I didn't love it the same way a lot of people in my cinema seem to be loving it when I was watching it yesterday, or when I was watching it in the theatre and I was watching it. And yeah, a lot of people in the theatre and the World Festival Hall that was watching this film yesterday were absolutely loving it and eating up moment to moment. And I wasn't personally. I do think the film could have been a bit better written. It doesn't quite hit you emotionally as much as you want it to, but it does hit you emotionally. That's the thing. It is not maybe as moving as you think it's going to be, but I did sit there at the end and I did feel emotionally moved by the film, and I had a spring in my step coming out of the cinema after watching this. Again, not really coming out of the cinema, but you get the point I'm making. I left the screening room after watching this yesterday with a spring in my step. I think Brendan Fraser is subtly brilliant in this film. This is probably my favourite Brendan Fraser performance. Most people say The Whale, but honestly, I didn't love him in that film. I love Brendan Fraser. I've loved him ever since I saw him in The Mummy and George of the Jungle, but I think this is his best performance, and I loved all the character relationships. I loved the ideas explored in the movie. I couldn't help but feel like it was missing something, and maybe it was a bit too long, There are parts that I do think you maybe could have cut out, but it's a heartfelt film, and the thing is, what it's trying to do is make you feel something. It's meant to entertain you, like all films are trying to do. They're meant to entertain you and meant to make you feel attached to the characters and hopefully move you emotionally. And that's what this film did. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, and I don't think it's going to get loads of awards consideration, but I do feel it's worth a watch, and it'll make you smile, and I think, you'll have a good time watching it. It's not the film you think it's going to be. It's a bit lost in translation. I mean, it takes quite a bit of inspiration. I mean, it felt like it did anyway. I don't know if the filmmakers did, but it felt like it took a lot of inspiration from Lost in Translation. However, there's a more enjoyable side to it as well. Yeah, it's a good film, not a great film, but it was definitely worth seeing. Yeah, and I liked it for what it was. I thought it was sweet, I thought it was heartfelt, and I thought it was moving. Not quite as moving as I was hoping it was going to be, but moving enough for me to come out of the cinemas going, you know what? I was emotionally taken by the film enough to enjoy it. So there you go. That's my thoughts on Rental Family, and I'm going to give the film a 7. Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a solid movie. Again, not a great film. I don't think it quite reaches the great mark. There are some very funny moments in the movie, which is one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned yet. There are some really funny moments and some quite clever comedic moments. But again, there's just something about it which it didn't quite hit the great mark for me, I think, because it didn't hit me emotionally as much as I hoped it would, and I don't think some of the supporting characters were quite as interesting as you wanted them to be. But still, it works, it's enjoyable, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. So that's why I'm going to give Rental Family a 7.5 out of 10. Now, as I try to get my phone open again, now let's move on to my next review in today's video, which is of Christy. So Christy is this new film starring Sydney Sweeney, which is based on the true story of Christy Martin, who's a famous female boxer. I've never heard of this person before watching this film, but well, now I've heard of them after seeing this film last night. And the Google plot synopsis of this film goes as follows. Christy Martin, played by Sydney Sweeney in this film, never imagined life beyond her small town roots in West Virginia until she discovered a knack for punching people. Fueled by grit, raw determination, and an unshakable desire to win, she charges into the world of boxing under the guidance of her trainer and manager turned husband, Jim, played by Ben Foster in this film. Flaunting a fiery persona in the ring, her toughest battles start to unfold outside of it as she confronts family, identity, and a relationship that just might become life or death. And that's pretty much all you need to know about Christy before seeing it. And here's the thing about Christy. I thought this film was okay at a push. I think that's me kind of being generous, actually. This film didn't really work for me, but I was locked into the second half a lot more than the first half. I think the first half of the film can't quite decide what it wants to be. Does it want to tell the story about this female boxer becoming this renowned sports person that everybody is looking up to? Does it want to tell the story of her and her manager turned husband, which is a very complex relationship, to say the least? Or does it want to tell the story of Christy Martin, played by Sydney Sweeney in the film, who's trying to hide her real sexual preference? Doesn't want to tell that story. And I don't think the film quite decides in its first half. I think the first half of the film is unfocused and it's uneven. Parts of the first half of the film have like needle drops going on. There's a needle drop in the first half of the film, which is Bust a Move by, I think it's by Run DMC, just Bust a Move. I don't really know the song too well, but hopefully you know what song I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, this is meant to be enjoyable. Then 2 minutes after that needle drop, it gets really serious again. I'm like, okay, what mood are we trying to, what's the atmosphere of this film? What's the tone of this movie? The film, particularly in the first half, is tonally all over the shop. And I didn't think Sydney Sweeney was great. I didn't think she was bad. I'm not really a Sydney Sweeney fan, in all honesty. She was at the premiere yesterday and I got to see in person, not that close, but still, I saw in person from a distance, and I saw Ben Foster in person as well, because he plays a major role in the film. But Sydney Sweeney, I haven't seen in Euphoria, which a lot of people say she's great in, but I have seen her in The White Lotus, Season 1, which I didn't think she was a standout in. I've seen her in Anyone But You, which I didn't think she was great in all honesty. She was fine. And I saw her in Immaculate, the film where she played a nun, I think, which came out last year, if I'm not mistaken. Might have come out this year. Anyway, yeah. I've seen her in those three things. I know she had a bit role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I don't really count that. Yeah, I've seen her in those three things. And in those three things, she hasn't really stood out to me. And she didn't really stand out to me in this film either. I don't think she gives a bad performance, but there's some people making out that she's going to be like, in the conversation, or maybe even the nominees for Best Lead Actress in a Movie for this year for the Oscars. And I'm a bit like, really? Okay, that's surprising, because I don't think she's that good. I don't think she's that bad in the film. I don't think she's bad at all, actually. But it very much felt like a vehicle for Sydney Sweeney to start to show how she's becoming a better actor. But it didn't necessarily feel like an awards-worthy performance. I didn't come out of the film going, well, I hope Sydney Sweeney wins the Oscar, or I hope she gets all the nominations, the same way I came out of Hamnet, and the same way I was thinking about Jessie Buckley coming out of Hamnet. When I came out of Hamnet, I was like, okay, Jessie Buckley deserves all the awards for her performance in that film. Whilst I didn't feel that with Christy. I came out of the film and was like, okay, Sydney Sweeney was good, but there was quite a few moments when it felt like Sydney Sweeney acting like, it felt like she was playing a real life person. You know what I mean? It didn't really feel like I was watching the real life person. It felt like the whole film is going, look, it's Sydney Sweeney doing a performance, she's playing a real life person, buy into it. And I didn't really buy into it personally. And I don't think it helps as well that about halfway through the film, she goes blonde, which is the hair colour that Sydney Sweeney in real life has. And the first half of the film, I mean, it looked like she was wearing a sort of black hair wig, and then in the second half of the film, she's blonde, and I never really got past the fact that I was, well, it's not a fact, but the feeling that I was watching Sydney Sweeney just do a performance. I don't think she's bad in the film, but again, there's some people making out as if this is a award-worthy performance, and I personally just didn't see that. I'm just being honest. And if I wasn't being honest, what's the point of me doing these videos on this channel? But I did think Ben Foster was very good. You really grew to hate that character the more the film goes on. And yeah, the relationship between Christy Martin and her, manager turned husband in the film is a very complex relationship, and I do think it is explored well. Not very well, but well enough. And the second half of the film had me more locked in than the first half of the film. Like I said, the first half of the film felt uneven. It felt like the filmmaker behind this movie was trying to. It felt like the filmmakers behind this movie were trying to make all these different films, all these different storylines come together in a way that wasn't really come together, and it didn't really feel like the film knew what story it wanted to tell. But in the second half of the film, I felt more, I didn't feel more, but I was more locked in. I was watching the second half of the film, and I was watching certain things happen in the second half of the film, and I was shocked. I was truly shocked by things that happen in the second half of the film, because they are shocking with a capital S, But I wish I felt more in the second half. There was a lot of people in my cinema which I think were feeling a lot in the second half, because there's a lot of people in my cinema that were gasping and you could tell they were being truly shocked by what was happening. And I was shocked, but I didn't feel as much. And I think that's because the film didn't really attach me to its main characters in the first half. So in the second half, I was locked into what was going on, but I think that was more because of the way it was being staged and directed, whilst I wanted to feel more than I actually did. The film didn't really make me connect to the characters in any way. So when you get to the second half of the film, and these truly, and I mean truly shocking and horrific things are happening, I was sat there, I wanted to feel a lot more than I was, I felt emotionally distant from Christy, and I just couldn't escape the feeling, right, that there was a better way to tell this story. Perhaps a more subtle way, because the film feels like it's not as subtle as it could have been, and therefore it's not really getting under my skin. It's not really making me hate the characters as much as I want to, hate the hateable characters as much as I want to, you know what I mean? And so I came out of the cinema, well, not the cinema, but I came out of the screening room after watching this film yesterday, and I was disappointed. I don't think it's a bad movie, really, but I don't think it's a particularly good one either, and it could have been. This is an interesting story. Christy Martin's story is an interesting story, but I don't feel it's told in the most interesting and in the best way. I think it's a fine film. I don't think it's a particularly good film, and I think it's let down by a script which isn't nearly as sharp and isn't nearly as, poignant as it should be, and I think that it's let down by some storytelling, which is really not that good because you're not quite sure what story the film wants to tell in its first half, and I think it's also let down by a lead performance from an actor who I don't feel was totally right for the role at this point in their career. Maybe in about 10 years' time, Sydney Sweeney would have been perfect for this role, but right now, I feel she's trying to show something with this performance, and I don't think she quite shows what she's trying to show. You know what I mean? Hopefully you do. If you don't, I don't know what I've just said there. But anyway, you get the point I'm making. Christy, I didn't think was a particularly bad film, but it was disappointing, and I was underwhelmed by it. I wanted to feel a lot more. I wanted to come out of the cinema literally cheering for Christy Martin, you know? The same way some people were coming out of the cinema after watching this film yesterday, but I just personally wasn't. I wasn't taken by it, and again, I couldn't help but escape the feeling that there was a better way to tell this story, and it felt like I watched maybe the lesser way. I feel like I watched a version of the story which didn't do the story justice. You know what I mean? Again, it's an interesting story, just not told in the most interesting fashion, in my opinion. And so that's why I'm going to that Christy. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I've just come with that rating off the top of my head. I haven't really thought about that rating. And maybe I'll feel differently about it in like a month's time. Maybe I like it more, maybe I like it less. But I'm in no rush to rewatch it. And I don't think it's nearly as good as it should be, you know? I think, there's a lot of wasted potential in this film. There's a lot of really good stuff, particularly in the second half, where the film really makes you horrified as to the horrific things going on. But again, I was hoping for more. I was hoping to be more emotionally taken by the film, and I wasn't. You know, it just wasn't as good as it should be, in my opinion, and that's why, I'm gonna give Christy a 6 out of 10 from me. Now, let's move on to the last review for today's video, and that is of Die My Love, the new Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson movie. So, Die My Love follows the story of Grace, played by Jennifer Lawrence in the film. A writer and young mother is slowly slipping into madness. This is a Google Plus I'm reading. Locked away in an old house in Montana, her increasingly agitated and erratic behaviour leaves her companion, Jackson, played by Robert Pattinson in this film, worried and helpless. And that's pretty much all I need to know about Die My Love before seeing it. And here's the thing. This film wasn't for me. This is not the sort of film which I particularly enjoy watching, in all honesty. And again, if I wasn't being honest, what's the point of me doing these reviews on this channel? This was not the sort of film I enjoy watching, and I found it very difficult to get through. Not necessarily because of the subject matter, but just because of the way everything was being done. The characters are likeable, the performances are good, but the thing is, I kind of felt that Jennifer Lawrence was miscast. Because although Jennifer Lawrence is a great actor, I'm not saying she's not. I've seen a lot of things, and I think she's a really fantastic actor, and I think she gives a very good performance in this film. I can see it being nominated for Oscars and whatnot going forward over the next couple of months into 2026, whenever the Oscar nominations are. I think they're actually in January 2026. But you get the point I'm making. I can see her getting nominated, although I think she's really good in the film. I really don't think they made her look dirty enough, you know what I mean? Like when you watch Amy Adams in Night Bitch last year, and I didn't like Night Bitch, but one of the things I liked about Night Bitch was that Amy Adams was going through all this, her character in that film is going through all these stages of, depression, and in that film she's made to look dirty, she's not made to look glamorous like Amy Adams usually is when you see her on the red carpet. But whilst in this film, you're watching Jennifer Lawrence, and you could tell, like, everything that she's on screen. She's got makeup on. She looks like the Jennifer Lawrence you'd see on a red carpet, you know. The Jennifer Lawrence who was literally on the red carpet of the BFI Film Festival the other day. And I didn't really buy into her going through all these stages of, being this erratic and, this erratic person who's all over the place. I didn't really buy into it because I just couldn't, she just looked like Jennifer Lawrence to me. I didn't think she looked dirty enough. I didn't think that was I think they could have got a better actor to really throw themselves into the role, personally. I did think Robert Pattinson was very good, although I couldn't get past the fact that I was watching Robert Pattinson. But the film itself, I mean, this is kind of the case with every movie, but this one in particular, certain films in particular, where this is really the case. You either get with it or you don't. And the thing is, I didn't get with it. That's it. I didn't feel connected to anything going on, and I felt the film was trying to I don't know. I don't know what this film was trying to. I mean, I know what it's about. I understand what it's about. I got that towards the end of the movie, which is why I'm not trying to give it away where the film goes, in case you are interested in watching this or you're watching my review. But the thing is, again, you either go with it or you don't, and I didn't go with it, and I felt that a lot of the film was, for me, infuriating to watch and kind of painful to watch. I was hoping it was going to end at certain parts, then it continued, and I was watching the film thinking, why is this happening? I don't really get this. I don't know what I'm meant to be getting this. I don't know what I'm meant to be getting from this, and maybe that's because I've not had this experience in my life with anyone close to me. But I really wasn't sure what this film was trying to accomplish, and it felt like it was trying to purposely make the viewers, make the spectators, watching this film feel uncomfortable. But I don't think it necessarily worked in the way it wanted to, personally. Yeah, this film, it just wasn't for me. I don't have loads to say about it, because not every time I watch the cinema is going to be for me. It's just a fact. And, because all film is subjective. And with this film, again, you either get it or you don't. And I just didn't get it. That's all. And I'm so happy that a lot of people... I'm so happy that I'm going to be in the minority. I'm going to be in my own island when it comes to this film, because I was walking out of the screening after watching the film this morning, and there were people behind me going, oh, that was so effective. That was so... so great to watch. I was so locked into it and things like that. And I was like, oh, that's great that people are feeling that about this film. But personally, yeah, I really struggled to get through it. And I didn't get it. Which I know I said already, but that's it for me. I'm not going to give this film a rating because, like I said before, you either go along with it or you don't. And I didn't go along with it. I sat there and I was really struggling to watch this film, and I don't know. Yeah, it didn't work for me at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my review of Die My Love. I wish I loved it. I truly wish I did, and I'm so glad for all these other people who are loving it. But I felt that the lead role was miscast because she looked too glamorous to be going through the stuff that she's going through in this film. And I felt that the film was, I didn't really know what it was. That's the thing. I mean, parts of the main two actors the main two stars are naked, and then they're fighting, and then there's a dog barking a lot, and then there's a baby crying a lot, and there's these supporting characters that I don't really understand the purpose of them, and then the Keith Stanfield shows up at one point. I didn't get it, but that's just me. Yeah, Die My Love wasn't for me, and that's totally fine. And that's it for all the views in today's video. If you have seen any of the films I reviewed in today's video, then please let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching or listening. Yeah, I suppose you could listen to this because it's not a podcast anymore, but you can still listen to this video if you wanted to. Put it on the background whilst you do something around your living room. So yes, thank you as always for watching or listening to this video. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more videos coming very, very soon on this channel. Like I said, hopefully my next review, I'll be back home, and I've got one more film to watch, the BFI Film Festival, which I'll probably review in my next video, which is History of Sound with Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor. But until my next video, guys, hope you enjoyed my videos from the BFI Film Festival, and hopefully you enjoyed my videos, should I say, from this travelodge in London, yeah. As I already said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.